Why do we seek the approval of others? As social beings, it is normal behavior for us to seek the approval of the rest of a clan. So, when does this need turn into emotional dependence? Don't let the noise of other people's opinions silence your inner voice, said Steve Jobs. And unfortunately, this is precisely what happens in today's society, where we've lost the connection with our deepest intuition. I'm Flavia Baldasseroni, Reconnective Guide, awakener of consciences and soul's compass. And for the second episode of my podcast, The Paths of a Soul, I decided to share with you my vision on the search for approval, when it becomes a difficulty and how to limit it. Okay, we've just said that it is normal to seek approval from others. So, when it is that it becomes emotional dependence, it is when it comes from insecurity. Okay, I have to make a little digression here. It will be just very, very little, because we'll have time to explain in more details all the emotional wounds topic in another episode of this podcast. For today, let's stay with this, and it's the following. There are 5 main emotional wounds that can be created in a child in their childhood. Of the 5 emotional wounds, there is one that is related to the lack of acknowledgement. What happens? In the family, the child isn't recognized. There is a lack of value in what the child does and all this. I don't know if you have listened to last podcast. I talked a bit about my family, and who listened to it knows a bit, and I'm going to resume it very quickly. I grew up in a family that didn't see me. The center of attention was my sister. She was the one good at sports. She was the one with good grades. She was the one always the center of attention, and I was in one side. It didn't matter what I did, it didn't matter how I behaved, nothing really mattered as far as my sister continued to feel the way she was. And this created a situation where I went outside looking for this recognition, this acknowledgement that I didn't have in my family, and almost always not in healthy ways. Not at all, really. And that's why I created this affective dependence, this emotional dependence from others. And I had to work very hard to get out of it. So let's see. How can we know if what we are feeling is a normal seek for approval, or it is emotional dependency? Let's try to answer this question. That is, our behaviors and decisions change based on the opinion of other people. If your answer was yes, then this may be a sign that there is a dependency. Let's see the other signs that we can recognize of this issue. One is we think differently from other people, but we don't have the courage to express what we really think about something, because we don't want to be judged, we don't want to feel criticized. And here I have to make a big parenthesis, because it was so funny while I was doing my research for this episode and looking which the signs, no, the signals of emotional dependency, and I was there and saying, oh, this I have it. Oh, I dealt with that just until yesterday. That one, it's on my to-do list, no? Like, I had every one of them. I was feeling like, oh my, I'm a codependent person. What have I to do to get out of this? Okay, I worked so hard to get out of this emotional dependency buckle. But it's not easy, really. It's very difficult, especially when you are not aware of it, but we talk about it in a bit. So, I'm gonna share my personal experience. I was at home considered the diplomat. I was always accomplishing to what people said, and always giving them the oh yes, it's true, why I didn't think about it, and all this, while inside I was thinking, what are you talking about? No, it's like I have a complete different opinion about this, but I don't want to share it with you because I didn't want to feel judged. And I just recently came to understand that it was because of this, no? Because I feared being criticized. I feared not being able to be loved by everyone. let's go to the next. The next sign that we can have a dependency is that our emotions vary based on other people's opinion. As I told you, I have an anecdote about this. I have my sister that every time that she goes against what I think or I think I'm doing or something like this, she is always like, oh Flavia, you're putting on the face where you don't like what I'm telling you. And I'm like, oh. At the beginning I was like, no, it's not true. Why are you telling me this? You don't understand a thing. But then I came to realize that it was true. That it could show on my face that I was not glad with what she was saying to me, no? And this was so funny because now I can really feel it. No, when I do it, I can feel I'm doing it. And when my sister tells me, you're doing the face, I tell him, yes, it can be right. So that's great, no? How we can improve, how we can arrive to a state of consciousness where we are aware of our flows. That's great. Next thing, we don't know how to say no, and we put others before our own needs. This one was one of the worst to get rid of that I had, and sometimes I'm still troubled by it. I was the one that I was doing something and someone called me, oh, I have a problem, this and that and that. They didn't even ask for my help, and I was, okay, I'm leaving everything I'm doing to come and help you fix the problem. And most of the time, taking time out of my personal time or work time and getting in trouble for it. So I can relate to this one too. And the next one I thought I didn't have, but reflecting on it, I think that we all have it a bit. We really are worried about appearances. We have the idea that we need to show ourselves as perfect, that we need to be without any flaws, without any aesthetic imperfection. I don't have the aesthetic part because I worked on it, and now I am like, okay, I don't mind what you think about my appearance. I go out in the world as I want to go, and I don't mind. But I struggled with it, especially when you are in a situation that's new for you, with people you don't know. You feel like No, I have to show my best self. And this brings us to the next point, that is that we lose our naturality and our spontaneity, our authenticity. How do we lose it? Because we are there in our mind thinking, oh, I have to act like this, I have to speak like that, I have to show my best side, I have to do this, do that, and we lose the essence of ourselves. So, how can we get out of this buckle? How can we get rid, or not getting rid because it's impossible to get rid of it, but work on this limitation? The first thing to do is to listen to ourselves. Listen intently to what we really want and what is our real purpose. Why do we do the things we do? Because people with emotional dependency tends to try and be perfect, but perfection doesn't exist, is an utopic concept. And these bring us to feel like we will never be enough. We will never be okay. It's impossible for us to be perfect for everyone, because perfection is a subjective feeling, and what is perfect for one person is not for another. And how can we deal with it? How can we think we can be perfect for everyone and in any situation? That's just impossible. We need to accept that there is variety and that people have their own thinking and their own things they like and dislike. There is a sentence from Aristotle that I really do like, that is this: to avoid critics, don't do anything, don't say anything, don't be anything. Because as soon as you start doing one of these three things, there will be someone there to watch you and to be ready to criticize and to judge what you're doing. So you need to be ready for this. The thing we need to understand is that society, today's society, it's driven by the fear of the different. We are afraid to be different. We always look to be in a group, to pertain to a place, a community, something, we are putting ourselves in boxes and putting tags on ourselves just to be accepted, to be integrated. So, what does it mean for a person that seeks approval to live in a society like this, that they are like with their, like rather, oh, I need to be the best at this so that I can enter in that circle of people. I need to be like this to do that. All these kind of things that just create stress for ourselves. And we don't understand that all we need to do is take consciousness, to be aware of ourselves and to get out of our comfort zone. Be in discomfort takes out our best qualities. So remember the following: you can't be liked by everyone, because every person is different and have different ideas of what they like, of what they appreciate, and all these kind of things. So it's impossible to be liked by everyone. Second, no one knows you better than you do. You can't leave others the power over your life, the power to choose for you what is better for you. You have to take the responsibility for your action and make the decisions needed to be your best self and to achieve your fullest potential. This is essential for your growth. Better and worse don't exist, only difference. We need to understand that there are different things, and then we'll be more open to understand that we can be perfect and that we can't be liked by everyone. Another very important thing to understand is that if they disapprove your work or something you're saying, they're not denying you. They are not going against you personally. They are simply expressing their opinion about something. We don't have to take it personally, because it's just a question of diversity, and for this someone can like something more than something else. So what can we do to get out of this situation? We need to get our self-esteem higher, to improve our vision, our self-love, our self-value. And how can we do this? With exercises. There are a lot of exercises, especially in mindfulness with meditation, that are intended to make you feel your worth, You are worthy. You are worthy of the love of people. You are worthy of having the abundance that you are meant to have. And the funny thing here is that who doesn't seek approval is what have the most. Why? Because they're authentic and they show themselves really for who they are. And these really attract people, because in this world where there is no authenticity, everything is fixed, everything is pre-made, everything is fake, someone who really shows in themselves for who they are, it's like the dark duck, no? Like, what are you doing here? Once you understand all this, it's easy to flourish. To flourish in your own way, to distinguish yourself from the others and be authentic in how you express yourself to the world, in how you act in front of other people. And this is what really makes the difference, especially when we are talking about personal spiritual growth. That's all for today's episode. I hope this little talk will be helpful to tame your seek for approval, but in reality, especially helpful to recognize if you have an issue with this, and how you can turn the cards in your favor and take the great power you have in your hands. Let's talk again next week, and remember, turn on your light, find your way, follow the paths of a soul. Bye.